This video is going to show you how to access and manage a YouSeeU virtual classroom system that you have already created. So as you can see here in the content area of my course, I've already created a couple of different YouSeeU sessions. We're going to go into the one that says first virtual session February 24th. If you need help on knowing how to add those sessions, there is another video on that that I'll put a link to down below this one that shows you how to actually set that up. But assuming you already have a video set up and we are in the time frame of that virtual conference, you can go ahead and click on it to enter. All right, when you first click on it, you're going to go to a lobby page. That's what we're in right now. It's going to have some basic information for you. If you happen to click on it at a time when the meeting is not open, you're not going to be able to click on these buttons. They're going to look blue, and it's either going to say meeting is ended or meeting is available in X amount of minutes. Other things just to be aware of on here, it's going to give you starting times. It's going to give you a phone dial-in number. That's kind of important to notice. If somebody has an issue with audio, they can call in on their phone rather than using their computer. It also gives you some other quick tips. For example, using headphones is really important because otherwise you're going to get a lot of echo. You'll see when you can see my webcam that I've got headphones and a microphone on. So let's go ahead and I'm going to click Enter Meeting Room. And if this is the first time you're doing it, you may have to jump through a few more hoops and click a few more approvals. But since I've done this a few times, it's taking me right into the session. And this first screen is really important. This is going to be the how do you want to join the audio screen. And more than likely, if you are the instructor, you are going to want to be heard. So you're going to click microphone. And then it's going to take you through some audio tests. This step is really, really important because it allows you to be heard. So right now I'm speaking and there's an echo and it says, do you hear an audio? And I'm going to say yes. All right, then the next thing that pops up is it shows me about the record notification. Now I set up this session to record and to auto record. And it's important to note that if you don't hit the record button during the session, but you clicked it ahead of time, you're still going to get that recording. What clicking that record notification to start and end is going to do is it allows you to sort of trim your recording. So oftentimes when you're doing a virtual class, the first few minutes are just sort of logistical, or maybe you get in before class starts to sort of upload things. You don't need that to be part of the recording. So if you know that you're going to want to sort of trim things, then I would suggest setting it to record and then not clicking the record button until you're actually ready to go for class. Now, if you forget to do that, then it's just going to record everything and that's not a big deal either. But that's what this little notification is saying. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now I can see that I'm in my session. Now this is a session I've been in before, so I already had a different file up. I'm going to go ahead and switch that back to the original file just to show you what it will look like the very first time you go into a YouSeeU session. You can see I have this is the default presentation, okay? I can see I have one other person in the class. It's Madison. She's going to pop up here on the screen in a minute. And right now, my microphone is live because I've done the audio test, but my webcam isn't on. And more than likely, you're going to want your students to be able to see you with the webcam. So I'm going to turn that on with this little icon right up here. I'm going to go ahead and click Share Your Webcam. And then it's going to take me through another little set of permissions. You have to tell your computer that it is okay for this website to access your webcam. So we're going to click Allow. Sometimes there's some Chrome issues, so you'll notice there's kind of a little ghosted thing up here that says you have to give Chrome permission the first time that you do a webcam session. That's going to pop up as well. But now you can see I've got my webcam previewing. Everything looks good. By default, it goes to medium quality. That's probably what I would recommend unless you have some really good reason for wanting super high quality video. And then if you have multiple video sources, let's say maybe you have a document camera or something of that nature, you can select different ones here. I right now only have the one webcam, so I only have that one choice to pick. But I'm going to go ahead and hit Start Sharing. And now you can see down here on the left-hand side, my video is showing. And also we can see Madison has turned her video on as well. So hi, Madison. And those are things that you can turn on and turn off. So depending on how big your class is, you may want everybody to be on webcam and mic the whole time. You may want people to be muted and only turn on their webcam if they're presenting. If you've got a smallish group, I would recommend everybody just keep their webcam and their audio on the entire time. So we've talked about the webcams and turning those on and off. Let's talk just a little bit more about this presentation area. You can upload pretty much any kind of file up into this area. The one exception to that is you can't upload video files, they're not going to play and stream for the whole class to watch. It's just too much to expect the bandwidth to do. So picture files work, document files work, PowerPoint files work. They recommend that you convert everything to PDF just to make sure that the formatting is exactly what you want, because when you upload like a PowerPoint or a Word document, it might mess with that formatting a little bit in the conversion. But I'm going to show you how to go ahead and swap out this default file, which is definitely worth a read if it's your first time using the system, to how to switch that for something else. So here in this kind of lower left-hand area, there's a button that says Upload Presentation. So I'm going to click on that. And then this is going to allow you to select a file from your computer. So I'll drag this into the frame here. Let's say I want this PDF to show up in the classroom. I just click Open. I say Upload. It's converting it into something that the YouSeeU system can read. And then it goes ahead and shows that slide. Okay, it'd be the same process whether it was a picture or a Word document or something else like that. Once you've got that presentation in, there's lots of things you can do to it. You can draw on it. You can change the color of what you're drawing. So I can draw attention to things. I can do shapes. Look at that. I can type text. Maybe. There we go. I draw a text box. And I can add text onto my slide. All that's going to get saved here in the recording. And those are all different things I can do. I can undo any of that if I didn't like it. But really, it's just kind of the same presentation tools you would have if you were presenting in a classroom. Moving over to the right, there's a chat area. So first of all, it points out that how you can call in if you need to. So if somebody's having sound issues on their computer, again, calling in works just as well. But this is a great thing if you have people that are asking questions sort of while you're lecturing or any other way that you need to communicate. I'm going to go ahead and type a chat. And then I'll have Madison go ahead and type something back in just so you can see what it looks like when somebody else types something back. So she's typed back hello. You can see that keeps that chat going. I also have the option to chat with anybody that's in the class privately. So if I wanted to send just her a message and nobody else, I could do that right there as well. You can't do a lot within the chat function as far as like pictures or emojis. It's pretty much just straightforward text, but it does work really well for those quick little text messages. As far as this little box right down here, this is the file uploader. So if you have something that you don't necessarily want to put up on the screen, but you want people to be able to access and share, that's going to go here in this file uploader site. So this might be if you did have a video you wanted somebody to watch during a live class, this would be the button that you would click to do that, or any other kind of file. So I'm going to go ahead and click Send File. And again, it lets me just pick out the file from my computer that I want to add. And then that's going to appear here into the chat and people can click on it and download it and look at it on their own computers. A few other things that I want to point out here within the system, these buttons down here allow you for some different presentation tools. If this was a slideshow, these buttons here would allow me to click through that slideshow presentation. So let me switch to a PowerPoint just to show you what that looks like. This is what it looks like as I'm clicking through various slides. I can also set up a poll. So if I want to have a yes no poll, I just set that out for the class to have a live poll, and hopefully Madison can click on that. Yep, she has said no as the answer to the question that I didn't ask. So there's the results of my live poll. I can publish that and it's going to show up right there on the slide. And now everybody can see the results of that. So that's a really quick way if you've got kind of a larger class and you want to check some understanding or something like that. It's a really easy way to go about doing it. The other thing I want to point out is that I can give other students presentation power within this class. So if I click on this link right here next to Madison's name, that's going to make her the presenter. You'll notice all of my presenter tools and boxes have now gone away. I don't have the ability to change anything like that. You are currently the only
person in this conference.
Uh-oh, and it looks like she may have gotten kicked out. But that would allow her to take over that control. Okay, and I think it's worth pointing out that the fact that she got kicked out like that is something that happens during a session. And so connectivity issues, browser issues, all of that can happen. If it does, don't let it freak you out. Don't let it freak your students out. Those are all things that are going to be just part of this virtual classroom streaming experience. It's got a lot of variables and there are a lot of things that can go wrong. So just be ready to roll with the punches on that. But there are also a lot of things that can go right. And I think there's a lot of advantages to using this kind of medium, especially if you've got students who are not face-to-face with you. The last thing that I want to point out is in the lower right-hand corner, and I'm going to adjust my screen just a little bit. There we go. the very bottom corner here, you can see that the layout is set to be default, and that's the version that we're looking at right now. But I can also change this depending on what kind of meeting I'm having. And right now what I'm changing is only for my own view of the screen. So since right now, let's say we're just primarily video chatting, now you can see it blows up all those pictures to full screen. If I want to push this same layout to Madison so that everybody in the session is looking at the same view, I can click this button and now her screen has just gone to be a full video chat. Other options for you, webcam meeting. This allows us to have webcams bigger, but still have the chat tool and the presentation tool. I also have presentation meeting. This means it's really all about the PowerPoint. There's lecture assistant, which gives somebody the opportunity to kind of really monitor those different kind of things, especially if you have an assistant who's in charge of the chat. It puts that front and center. Or just straight up lecture if I'm just talking. So I'm going to go back to default. It's also worth noting that I can move all this stuff around even if I don't pick one of the given layouts. I can kind of move it wherever I want. I can minimize any of these windows, and that's something that I have control over for my own view, and then I can push that out to everybody else as well. So that's really it. That's kind of a rundown of running a meeting in the virtual classroom system. Other things just to point out, there is a share your desktop option. It's not available for all browsers, so that's probably not what you want to use as your default, but it is there. And one thing that I haven't done yet is I haven't clicked the start recording button. So if you get to a point where you're like halfway through the lecture and you forgot to click the start recording button, don't worry about clicking it in the middle. Just let the recording run for your whole session. But if I knew, okay, this has all been warm up and now it's time for me to present my class and I know I want to record, I would hit the start recording button. It asks me if I'm sure. I say yes. And now this is telling YouSeeU, hey, when you share this out as a recording of a lecture, only show from here to when I hit the button again. That's what that recording button does. It's not the thing that tells it to record if you forget to click it, but you set it up to record, it's still going to do that, but it's going to kind of put that start and that end point there on that recording so that your students aren't seeing the extra stuff at the beginning and the extra stuff at the end. That's really about it. I think if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. We've got a video that we created that's for students as well, because they have a slightly different process for getting into this. It's pretty much the same thing, but there's a few nuances. So there's a video for that. We've also got a video for instructors on how to set up a session. So this video is only showing you how to manage one that's already set up. If you want to know how to set one up, you will have to look at that other video for that. But that concludes this little mini video tutorial. So thank you, Madison, and thanks for watching.